What's up, Fishing Fanatics? So I checked in on the shrimp here, and I wanted to see how they were doing. And if you've never seen a berried shrimp before, this is what they look like. Let me see if I can get this focused here. I kind of zoomed in, so my camera's struggling trying to get a good point of focus here, which is breaking my heart. There we go. All right, so what they do, as you can see, she's digging through the sand. She's constantly eating. But with her back legs, you can see she's fanning eggs. And this is to make sure that they don't get fungus up. So if you don't know much about shrimp, they carry their eggs in their back, which makes them saddled, or is what we call saddled. Once they are then fertilized, they drop into their lower abdomen, which they are then called berried. Now, a berried female, it can take up to 2 weeks for them to hatch. But as you can see, she is constantly eating, and while she's eating, you'll see little white dots appear underneath of her. Those are the eggs. And it looks like she's not too far off from having those bad boys crack open. But you can see in her lower abdomen, let me see if I can point it out here without getting too involved. Whoa, sorry. Right inside there, there's eggs, and you can see them moving around. And what she's doing is she's going through with her back legs, and she's pulling those eggs out and making sure that they are moving constantly to keep them free of fungus, so the eggs are more viable and they don't spoil. Once an egg gets fungus on it, there's almost a guaranteed chance it's not going to hatch. And you can see there, those little white dots are the eggs. So she's pulling them out of her lower abdomen, moving them around, making sure they're constantly in movement as there's Snail City coming in, so that they don't get any fungus on them and they'll hatch. And like I said, if you look at the back of her abdomen where I pointed, you can see there's eggs already in there as well, and those are constantly moving as well. And there would be one of the males making his cameo as usual. But yeah, this is what it looks like when a female is berried. So if you see this type of behavior in your shrimp, that means chances are she's berried. And you can see there she's flipping them around again, moving them and moving them and moving them. She'll pull them out, she'll move them around, then she'll tuck them back in. Then she'll grab another batch, she'll move them around, she'll tuck them back in. And this cycle continues until these eggs hatch. Now, believe it or not, they normally don't drop eggs. They're just sticky enough where they can pull them out, cycle them, and you can see there's one all the way at the very back. That one's going to go back in as well. They don't drop them. They're sticky enough so that she can go through, fan them out, as always, put them back in, and continue that cycle. This way, like I said, they don't get fungused up, they will be more viable, and they will hatch. Now, it normally takes roughly 2 weeks from the hatch once they're like this, and these eggs look pretty good. So we'll see how long it takes before she has them. But if you haven't watched any of the shrimp updates, I'd recommend that you do, because there's so many shrimp in here now. We initially started off with about 19 shrimp, and we're currently pushing 200. That's from 19 shrimp, and that's within a couple of months. So we do have some shrimp that were, when we first got them, the first batch, those guys are all grown up now, and they're ready to be on their own and start moving around and procreating themselves. We have a bunch of little baby ones in here as well that are just literally newborn. Let me see if I can get this one on tape, on video. I said tape, just gives you an idea how old I am. All right. Oh, there we go. So that one's pretty new. And it's zoomed in, which is why it looks as big as it does. But it's very, very small still. Not very big at all. And the vicious cycle continues with the snails. These things are everywhere. But we do have a way to get rid of them, which we're not getting rid of them. We're collecting them to move them into the puffer tank. It's the breeding for profit tank downstairs. But this is what it is. So, like I said before, when they're ready to breed, they will have their eggs in their back. And when they're in the back, that's called being saddled. And I have a couple of them in here, but I'm not sure where they are right now. There's one there, but it's hard to get the... Thanks! You just made that super easy. So there you go. Prime example. The little yellow spots on the back are eggs. That's being saddled. They get fertilized. Once they're fertilized, they drop into the abdomen, and they are then known as berried. And you can see we have quite a few males swimming around right now. We have a really, really good assortment of both males and females. And we have really, really nice males. They're a lot lighter than the females are, but they're also still really, really colorful, which is super cool. There's another one back there. That's a male, believe it or not. There's... Let me see if I can get this one on. Because that one's like... Nope. Oh, he's gone. As soon as I grabbed this and went to zoom in, he took off. But I mean, there's literally tons of berried and tons of saddled in here at this exact moment in time. But yeah, that's the difference between saddled and berried, and that's how you know when your shrimp are carrying versus when they're ready to have more babies. When they're carrying, they're saddled. They just carry the eggs in their back. Once the eggs are fertilized, they drop into the abdomen, and they then become berried. And once they are berried, you will see this behavior. They will continuously run around eating and eating and eating, and the back half of them is almost always in movement as well, constantly fanning the eggs. And if you look at the very center of her abdomen, you can see, even without moving her legs, she's still shifting her abdomen, and the eggs are fluffing inside of there to keep them fungus free. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope if you didn't already know this, you learned something from it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them in the box below. If you haven't already, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share. Let's get some more people into the fish keeping hobby. And as always, happy fish keeping.